recording. Let me write it here for you, so it stays here in the chat. For the record, there is no point in doing something. Oh wait, there. There. So it stays there. It's like a fixed expression, yeah. There's no point in watering the plants or the flowers because it's going to rain later today, or there's no point in going to that conference because they will also stream it online or something. Yeah, it's like that.
So the other is Shane is furious with me for mislead her.
Here's the thing: if there was an option that was misleading, right, like with ing, that option could work, right? If it said Jane is furious with me for misleading her, that would be a valid option. That would be a correct sentence. But mislead without ing doesn't work here, I'm afraid. Do you have any other guess?
Mislead her.
Having misled her. Yeah.
Misled her. Oh,
Yeah, that's okay. Let me, this exercise this activity, I think it's really useful because we can see like some grammar structures on the fly. Maybe I should look them up later so you can have them like all together. But when we say like having plus verb in third column, like having done something or having whatever, like a verb in, what a verb in third column means? Yeah.
What a verb?
In third column.
I don't know.
Okay, let me look up some example. Let's see, verbs, 3 columns. Let me try to fetch some image from Google. I have to do a captcha. But in the meanwhile, yeah, when you say having and then a verb in third form or in third column, in past participle, that means that you did something in the past that still has consequences now, so like Jane is furious with me, that's like a consequence that is still ongoing, the writer misled Jane in the past, but now there are still consequences of that. Jane is still furious with the writer at the time of him writing that. But yeah, let me look this up. I'm being put through some captchas. Okay, let's see. Irregular verbs, for example. Yeah, we can look at this. Hold on, okay, I'm looking an example up. Here, okay, yeah, I found an image that we can use as example. There. Let's see. Let me try to find one that has all 3 different columns so we can like do examples with that. Well, we can just do, for example, I do, when we use the first column, the infinitive, that's things you do regularly, right? On a regular basis. So, first column, infinitive, activities that you do on a regular basis. Example, I do house chores every other day, right? That means hago hago cosas de la casa día por medio, ¿no? No sé, lavar la ropa, do the dishes, lay the table, lay the bed, everything. Then the second column is simple past, right? Second column, simple past. So for example, you have I did my house chores, or for example, I last did my house chores 3 days ago, I don't know. O last Saturday, for example. La última vez que hice tareas del hogar fue el sábado pasado. And then the third column is past participle. And we use this, well, for stuff that we have done in the past but kept on doing up until now, or stuff that we did in the past and still has consequences now. So we can use this one as an example, like Shane is furious with me for having misled her, right? Having misled her, right? Let me... sorry, what is it? I couldn't hear you.
No, I was repeating, sorry.
Okay, no, yeah, go ahead. Try to say it out loud if that helps you. Okay, so is that more or less clear, or?
Yes. Okay, I'm going with the next.
Yeah, sure. I don't know why. I don't know why my camera isn't showing up though. I think I can fix that. Hold on a second. Oh, there. Hi, sorry that I couldn't fix that before or last class or anything. Okay, yeah. Next question, if you will.
Okay, the suspect or suspect.
Suspect.
The suspect claims to have been visiting. To have been. Oh no, to have been visiting, to be visiting, to have been visited. Okay. The suspect claims.
Can I do you need a hint? I can give you a hint. Or like a tip, advice. Yeah. Do you see how at the very end of the sentence, it says at that time?
Yeah.
That means that the suspect visited her sister, and now he isn't visiting her sister anymore. You know, it's something that happened in the past, and now it's not happening anymore. You know, and when we just learned about past participle, it was something that happened in the past, and it's still happening now, or it's still having consequences now, but now it's like simple past. You know? It's like something that happened in the past and it's not happening anymore. So that's a hint, right?
Okay, so is to have been the suspect claims to have been visiting her sister at that time.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's that one. I'll be honest, I'm not sure either, but it should be that one. Yeah, have been visiting. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess the consequence now is that he's still a suspect, right? So it's the same as the previous question, you know, as question number 4. Yeah, I guess it should be that. Let me try to erase something I have over here. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but it should be that one, I guess. Yeah, because the other ones don't make any sense grammatically either. They are like bad structure, but wrongly formed sentences. So yeah, I think it should be that one. The suspect claims to have been visiting her sister at that time.
Okay. I would prefer not to have known, to have known not. I would prefer not to have known.
Yeah, nice. I would prefer not to do the dishes today because I'm too tired. I would prefer not to not to have played video games until up until late because then I had an exam or something. Yeah, that's a
And it's
structure.
possible to say I would prefer to have not known.
I don't think that's correct. No, I would prefer doing something. I would prefer not doing something. I would prefer having done that. I would prefer not having done that. I think that's the way you structure them all the time. I don't think you can phrase it any other way, I'm afraid.
Okay, sorry, but there are too few players. But there are too few players. Uh, Having a proper game.
um, I think it's to have actually.
To have.
Yeah, because if you say there are too few players having a proper game, it's like there are players playing, but they are too few. I don't know. It kind of doesn't make sense. Like, what are you trying to say? There are maybe in some other context, in some larger context, it could make sense, but isolated like this, that phrase like doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But if you say there are too few players to do something, to for example play a game, that means that you can't have a proper game because there are too few players. Like that makes a lot more sense. But yeah, you could also have a situation which is like, which could be like, there are too few players in the field right now, or there are too few players doing the activity you just asked them to do. I don't know. It could be possible to have the infinitive in some other context. But isolated like that, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. The other option makes no sense.
Ok. Pero there are too few players. O sea, hay muy pocos jugadores.
Para poder jugar.
Ah, ok.
Yeah. You can't play because there aren't enough players.
Okay. There's no use having. Okay. There's no use having complaining to complain about it all the time. There's no use to complain about it all the time.
Close enough. It's no use doing something. There's no use complaining.
Complaining. Okay.
Yeah, that's the structure. Let me write it down here. There's no use doing something, right? When something is no use, it means that es en vano, es al pedo, es al cohete. We have multiple ways of saying it. Yeah, it's no use watering the plants. It's no use. It's no use taking a shower because then we have a trip to the field, for example, and you get dirty or something. That's actually very similar to question number 3, where it was like there was no point doing something. Well, now it's no use doing something, right? That's the structure. And you can replace do with whichever verb. There's no use having dinner. There's no use plugging your computer. There's no use. Any verb can fit in there with ing in infinitive form.
Nine, look, it's time to forgetting. It's time to forget everything that happened.
Great. Yeah, that's the structure. It's time to do something.
Okay, yeah. And the views from the top are word to be described in detail.
It was actually the other one. They are worth describing in detail, I think. Let me look it up just in case because I'm not too sure. Worth doing something. Let me Google it up and let's see if that's the correct structure. Yeah, be worth doing something. Let me share you this link. I'm glad that I'm thankful that I can teach classes from this one other computer because my other PC was quite slow and okay. So yeah, you have the link there. It says in this dictionary like the structure is something worth doing, right? Like it's always worth studying. It's always worth working. It's worth having a healthy lifestyle. Like ing is the structure. But yeah, we could see in this exercise that there were some things that were like it's time to, and then it's time to have. Worth having, right? Like there were things that were like to have, and then there were other things that were having, right? Like we could see that there were like do plus verb. Let me do plus verb, and then there were some other structures which were like verb plus ing, right? I can even add a noun here. Right, so we have like these two things in the exercise. Okay, let's see if I can find any other activity. I have one here. This one is about you're given a text and you should correct the parts in italics, in cursiva, not cursiva, but italica. You should correct those parts so that the text is correct. Yeah. There's an example at the very beginning that it said for someone never to be sleeping, and then it's crossed out. It says for someone never to sleep, and so on with the other 11 bits with the other 10 bits. Sorry, of the text.
The answer is almost yes if you have a pattern familial insomnia in which have failed.
Okay, in which dormirse. Okay, how would you say that?
Oh, okay, to have failed is the
To have
complete.
to have fallen is like the wrong thing. You have to replace that with something that.
Oh, okay. In which falling asleep is almost impossible.
Yeah, great. Falling asleep means dormirse. Yeah.
Okay. For sufferers, it's not even worth them going to bed because sleep won't come.
Hold on 1 second. I'm doing some remarks. Okay. For sufferers, it's not even worth them. And what did you say here? Sorry.
Going.
It's not even worth them going to bed because sleep won't come. Yeah. It's the same. Did you notice that it's the same structure that we just saw? Worth doing something. You got the hang of it.
Okay, yeah. Okay. As the name suggests, As the name suggests, uh,
This one is a bit of a tricky one, it's okay. But take your time.
affected, I don't know how to say it, afectados.
Let me suggest. I think what we need to write here is sí, ser afectado, like something like that.
Okay, as an infinitive,
So how would you
to be
say?
affected, but
Yeah, I think it's that. As an just to be affected. Yeah, I think it's that. I would say getting affected, but in the context of the text exercise, I think it makes more sense to say to be affected, right? Yeah, that's correct. I can think of three ways of correcting this one bit. You could say to be affected by this condition, getting affected by this condition, or to be affected, being affected, or getting affected. You could any of those. It's okay. I'm writing them down, but yes, to be affected is probably the intended way to do this exercise. Yeah.
okay. Being affected sounds better, no?
They all sound well. Being affected isn't too well. We still have to see this. We still have to learn this in class. But when you say, for example, get affected, the get thing means that it has a bit of a negative connotation. Like, oh, I got affected by COVID. I got COVID, right? And if you say like be affected, it's like you're like saying that it's a positive thing. Like I don't know. I can't think of any examples right now, but yeah, I think it's better to either say to be affected by this condition or getting affected by this condition. Being affected by this condition isn't bad grammatically wise, but it just doesn't quite fit. It doesn't collocate. Okay, a collocation is something that grammatically it fits better than other words, right? Words that don't collocate aren't necessarily badly written, but it kind of it's like a noise, it's it can be done better. But yeah, to be affected.
Okay, to be affected by this rare but dreadful condition can cause death depending on its severity. If we don't get enough sleep, carry out our day-to-day life. If we don't get enough sleep, carrying out.
No, it's the other one to carry out. If you don't get enough sleep to do something, that's the structure, yeah. It kind of implies a cause and a consequence, right? For example, in the previous activity, we have, remember the one with the players and activity number 7, like item number 7, that says there are too few players to have a game. It's like a cause, then two, and a consequence, right? So it's like if you where was it? If you don't get enough sleep to do something, it means that this thing is a cause and this thing is a consequence. Yeah, I can't.
If we have enough sleep to carry out our day-to-day life.
Yeah, and the way you can think about it is I can't carry out my day-to-day life because I didn't get enough sleep. It's like a cause and a consequence. Yeah.
Okay. The damage to our physical and mental health can be very serious. No sleep for a day. To sleep for a I don't know.
Doing something. Doing sleep for days. Quote unquote.
So now, sleeping.
No, it's just sleeping. Yeah, you don't say when you say to. Check the check what we have in the chat here. It's a bit higher up in the chat here. Let me rephrase this though, because I wrote it very poorly. It's, yeah, I just got the hang of it. It's a to plus infinitive or, wait, infinitive or verb plus ing. This is a gerund, okay? And then this is like the other one there. So you have like to and infinitive without ing. Okay, let me actually remark that. No ing there. So when you say to do something, to sleep, it's never like to sleeping. No. When you say to, the verb that comes afterwards, right after, you don't use ing on that one. Like to do, not to doing. To do. Okay, yeah. So yeah, here comes the gerund, which is sleeping. Yeah, sleeping for days.
Okay. I mean, not sleeping for days often makes people.
Yeah, sorry, it's that one. Yeah, it's not sleeping for days. Yeah, it's a negative.
Often makes people feeling weak and disorientated.
I think this one comes in infinitive, but without the to, right? Like feel weak. That's it, I think. The to is extra, right? Makes people feel weak.
Okay.
You make someone feel bad, you make someone feel well. It's like infinitive, yeah.
There can be some benefits in being taken. Okay, there can be some benefits in take sleeping pills. There can be some benefit in take sleeping pills, but this
It's taking with ing.
there can be some benefit in taking sleeping.
Sleeping
Okay.
pills, yeah. A benefit in doing something, yeah. There's a lot of benefit in having a healthy lifestyle. There's a lot of benefit in working out, right? Like doing exercise. There's not much benefit in eating junk food. Okay, that's the structure, yeah.
Okay, there can be some benefits in taking sleeping pills, but this puts a different kind of stress on the body and the drugs can become addictive. There is a need for more research. Okay, there is a need for more research to do in this area, and is it sure?
Very, very close. I think it's to be done. Hay falta mucha investigación para ser hecha. It could be to do, maybe. Wait, there's a need for more research to do. I think it's to be done because it's like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but it's to be done. When you say, okay, here's an example. When you say there is a lot to be done, okay, like, hay mucho para hacer, okay, hay mucha investigación por hacer. There's a lot to be done. That's you can think of it that way.
Okay.
I know it's not very convincing, but I can write it down for you. But yeah, go ahead with the next one in the meanwhile.
And is it sure? There is a need for more research to be done in this area, and is it sure to be a very deserving way for governments money to spend. From our research. Be a very deserving way for government money.
And it is sure to be. Yeah, I think that's correct. I mean, you can also say it is sure a very deserving. You can like straight away remove the being and say it is sure a very deserving way. But yeah, I think it is sure to be a very deserving way. It's also correct. I'll be honest, I'm not quite sure. This is not too easy of an activity, but yeah, I think it's to be. I think you got that correctly. Hold on a second.
For money to spend. Yeah.
Did you say something? Sorry, did you or no?
The last one, the serving way for government money to spend.
To be, think of the to be done thing, like for research to be done, but this time instead of to, you have spent on the third column. It's to be spent. I thought maybe you could get it, but it's fine. Yeah, we didn't like view this structure. We didn't learn it, so we didn't review it. To be plus verb in third column. Let me write it here for you. It's like por hacer. I don't really know how to say it in Spanish, but hay mucho por hacer, hay por gastar o lo que sea. Para ser gastado, maybe you would say that. Es una buena área para que el dinero sea gastado. Maybe we could phrase it that way in Spanish, and that translates to be spent, right? That's a very similar way of saying it. Okay. So what did you think of these activities? Did you like them? Any doubts?
Yeah, I like it. It was hard, but I like it.
Yeah. If anything, we can do more exercises with these few structures of to do or doing or to be done. We can further exercise this in future classes. Today we were supposed to do listening activities, but I didn't prepare any yet. So I'll do that for some other time. You actually have like 2 classes to recover, don't you? From like earlier?
Yeah.
One of those, one or both of those classes, we can spend them on listening activities. Okay, well, that's it for today's class.
Okay, great.
Well, see you around.
Okay, see you. Bye bye.
Bye.